Good morning and once again welcome to my YouTube channel, Maths with Ease by Mr. Kamotho. And in this video, I want us to respond to question number 6 of exercise 1 star under the topic Algebra 7. And the question says, solve this equation by factorizing. And just note factorizing. I have underlined the word factorizing because it's a key word in this statement. But before we go to solving the question, let me explain what is factorizing. Factorizing is a way of finding factors that will do something specific. It's a way of finding factors that are common within some numbers. And in this case, the word factorizing is a way of singling out what is common outside the bracket and enclosing within the bracket what remains after what is common is set outside. Now, factorizing is, in this case, a method of solving quadratic equation, and I want us to be very keen in this. We said in the previous video that for us to be able to solve quadratic equation, we must be having 0 at the right hand side. So we have to confirm, does the equation have 3 terms? This one has 3 terms. There is this one, that one, and this term. That is not important at all. What is important, do we have a term of any variable squared? Yes, the answer is yes. T squared makes this equation qualify to be a quadratic equation. And the way of solving quadratic equation using factorization method, using the BAC approach, which I introduced, but I'm also going to repeat it here, is first of all leaving 0 on the right hand side. So what do? T squared minus 3t, when 40 crosses over, it becomes negative 40 is equals to 0. Now we have 0 at the right hand side. Now that we know the general format of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. That is the general format of a quadratic equation, where a is actually this coefficient in front of the t squared, b is the coefficient in front of t, which is negative 3, and c is this one. So we may be having our a here, in this case is our a in this case is 1, our b is minus 3, as you can see, and our c is negative 40, as you can see. Let me now bring in the BAC approach. What is BAC approach? Let me bring it here. BAC. What is our B? Minus 3. What is our AC? A times C, minus 40. The two questions now follow. Which two numbers, when added, they will give us a negative 3, and at the same time, those same numbers, when multiplied, they should give us negative 40. Which two numbers, when added, they will give us negative 3, and when multiplied, they will give us negative 40. And these are now what you're calling the factors. And the factors in this case, if you ask me, is minus 8 plus 5. Minus 8 plus 5 is minus 3. Negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. And having landed on those factors now, the next step is we break the middle term, this one, and substitute it with the factors that we have found. How do we go about this? T squared minus 8t plus 5t minus 40 is equals to 0. We have broken the middle term into minus 8t plus 5t. Keenly, if you evaluate minus 8t plus 5t is basically negative 3t, because when you look at these two combined together, these two, they are simply talking about that. It's just negative 3t. The reason why we had to do that is so that we can factor out two terms at a time, or we can consider two terms at a time. Between t squared and minus 8t, what is common? Of course, t is common. So within the bracket, t squared divided by t is t, minus 8t divided by t is minus 8. Close bracket. This sign come here, this sign comes here. Between 5t and minus 40, what is common? Of course, t is not common there, but you can see clearly 5 is common. 5t divided by 5 is t, minus 40 divided by 5 is minus 8. Close the bracket, is equals to 0. We can now clearly see that this bracket is repeated twice, or the two brackets are identical. We write that part of the bracket once, and then take the terms that are factored out to make a bracket of their own. That is 5 plus t. At that particular point, we have two numbers. When multiplied, the product is 0. We have this bracket and this bracket. When multiplied out, the product is 0. It is either, when you multiply two numbers and the product is 0, it is either one of the numbers is 0 or both of them are 0. So in case it is t minus 8, which is 0, then you can clearly see t is equals to 8. And if it is t plus 5, which is 0, then you can clearly see that t is equals to negative 5. And that is it. Those are the two solutions to that question. Thank you.